The following interviews have been carried out as part of a research project into Icelandic and Nordic craft practitioners and how they can influence the development of a new industrially made product for export from Iceland. The focus within the questions is to open a discussion to consider what elements of the craft practitioner's practice are mimicked or utilised by industry, what elements are not, what elements could be, and what elements of their work could be utilised to develop a new export from Iceland.
Right now we are sitting in a Viking ship in the museum's harbor in Roskilde. My name is P.O. Andersen. I'm educated as a shipwright, and I've been working here on the museum since '91 as a shipwright, and I live approximately 10 kilometers from here. Started making sculptures in '86. I was on a school where we actually were supposed to learn to make drawings and paintings and so. But then there was a little course in between where we could make sculptures. I think I was a little aggressive, so doing the work with a pencil, it was not enough. So I had some wood out there. There were different kinds. There was elm, there was oak, different kinds of wood. And I could use axes in them. There were different kinds of tools because it was new for me to make sculptures. I had done a lot of drawing and so, but there was the 3-dimension in it, and trying not to get a backside and a front side on the thing, so that you could walk around it and see it from all sides. That was new to me, and that was what I was fond of.
And how did that make you want to get into boat building?
Because boat building is sort of the same. It's
Same as what?
As making sculptures, in a way. Yeah, you can say that, not that a ship is like a sculpture, not at all, but many of the parts in a Viking ship is like small sculptures. So I took contact to the National Museum here in Roskilde. They were working with ships. They didn't need any people at the moment. So I took contact to people on Bornholm, a little island in the Baltic Sea between Poland and Sweden. It's Danish, the island. There was a shipwright there. He needed a man in apprentice. So I started there, and I was there for 2 years. And it was mostly it was repairing and maintenance of ordinary fishing vessels. And then later on I took contact to Roskilde again, and I finished my apprentice here. Here on the Viking Ship Museum in Roskilde, the last 6 years, we've only been building replicas of Viking ships. Before that, we were also building replicas of Viking ships, but we were doing other boats as well. Here in the Viking Ship Museum's shipyard, we have the room where we're sitting in now, where we build the ships inside. We have a room here in beside where we have some stationary machines, and then we have surroundings the outside where we are building the replicas outside, because it needs so much space when they're 30 meters long or like that. So that's like it's always been in traditional boat building. It goes on the outside. So when we are building a replica of a Viking ship. We build it outside and also in the winter time, but sometimes in the winter we make things inside when it's possible. But the ship is standing in the same place outside all the time. Also during the winter we select wood in the forest, take it down, cut out the branches in the right lengths and so, and transport it down here. And then we have a little field here between the museum and the shipyard here. That's where we put the logs when they come from the wood. And that's where we cut it roughly and takes it over here. Because if we put all the wood we had to use in the ship over here, we would not be able to be here ourselves because it's a big pile of wood. We don't know exactly where the Vikings made their ships. There's two ideas about where they made them. They made them on the coast. That means that they transported the logs or parts of the log. Maybe they produced parts for the ship in the forest and then taking them when they were easier to transport to the coast where they were building the ship. Or they built the ship in the forest, maybe close to the water, and then transported the whole ship to the water. We don't know. There's not many shipyards in Denmark where they built traditional wooden boats anymore. There's one big one on the west coast, and there's a few in other parts of the country, and they look like this shipyard, you know, with a room with stationary machines, and then they got a bigger room for where they build the ships. But the industrial ships, many of them are inside the country, not close to the water, because they're just mass producing ships, and it's made out of fiberglass or glue constructions or so. When I do this kind of work, it's important to me that the work site is changing. That means I really enjoy to go to the forest in the winter. It's really a good experience to come to the forest and make some timber and so. It also the feeling of that you cut down a tree and then at last you put a piece of that tree into the boat. That's a good feeling of knowing the wood all the way.